Welcome to 28.5 Women's Basketball, where we explore a unique and authentic perspective on the women's game, break down upcoming matchups, and discuss the latest news and trends in women's basketball. We are your hosts. I'm Sydney Story, and I played basketball at the University of Tennessee under Pat Summitt.
And I'm Becca Goodman, and I played at the University of Notre Dame under Muffet McGraw. And we're thrilled to have you join us today. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoy what you hear, be sure to tune in each week and don't forget to follow, download, and listen to give an assist and share the love. Now let's get started with today's episode.
Hey, Sid.
Hey, Beck.
We're back.
Let's go. I can't believe it. I'm so excited for the 2025-2026 women's college basketball season. So excited.
That, season 2 for us. This is awesome. How cool
That's awesome.
Is it that we're getting the gang back together and talking hoops? I think it's absolutely going to be a blast this year. A lot of new stuff, a lot of moves, a lot of shakeups, and a lot of new teams.
I'm really looking forward to it. Last year we had just over 30 episodes, which was a lot. We're going to try to scale it back a little bit, make it a little bit more content focused on the season, which I think will be really good. We're going to have a couple huddles that will drop in between there. There'll be a couple weeks where maybe we have a couple episodes, but we're going to stick to that once a week cadence on Monday mornings. So I think it'll be a little bit more streamlined this year. We're trying to learn from last year and implement to this year and just make it better. But all in all, we're talking basketball, and that's what we love.
Talking ball, but also Sid and I have not been away from the game 1 minute, I would say.
Yep, that's correct.
I think both of us probably got a week off total of any basketball, whether it's discussions, watching games, watching our families' games, or coaching. We have clinics going on. So, we had an AAU team that Sid and I both coach with a couple of our other AAU former teammates, which is an absolute blast. And we're looking to dig into that a bit more this year and just make an impact. So a lot of basketball all the time.
That's right. Our AAU team, we're proud of them. We just joined the Under Armour Rise circuit. So getting sponsored by Under Armour, which is a big deal for us, just shows how much our girls have grown, how much we've been able to grow our AAU team and really get better. So that was a ton of fun. Like, we competed this year, which was amazing. We played in some exposure events, including the big Louisville one where there's 96 plus courts and it's just an absolute basketball frenzy. We're looking forward to that one again this coming summer. So it's so fun for us. It's like full circle, right? Because Becca and I, we were on those AAU circuits playing all those AAU games. Now we get to give back to the game, give back to the community and coach. So like Becca said, we were not away hardly for a minute from the game.
Sid, can we talk about just really quick how much it's changed since we played, right?
Insane.
So when we went to these tournaments for these exposure events, right? Obviously, we had one down in Georgia, the Adidas one, top 100. Then you stay after if you get picked. But there was there were coaches. It was more about the game. And now the one we just went to, it was like a blast for the whole family. There were stations in the convention center that's down there in Louisville, and it was backdrops for pictures for TikToks. You could get your hair done, your nails done. This was all for the players. So there's significantly a good amount of pub and just social media type things that they could do, which not only helps them in the game, but makes, that whole look good, feel good, but helps their brand, which is really where the game is going, is what brand you build and what money you can earn and what following you have. So I thought it was very interesting. I think for you and I and a few others, we come from the older crowd. We were just like, this is wild, but in a really good way.
Yeah, it's such a business now too. You look at all the teams that play in that tournament in Louisville. It's the largest AU tournament in the country. And ESPN was broadcasting games during that tournament, which was awesome for our players to see. And you had Dawn Staley, Geno, all the big coaches that would fly in on their private jets. The airport's like right next to the convention center. They'd fly in, watch a player or two that they wanted to see, and then fly back home. It's just the level of everything towards AAU right now is really cool. So to your point, way different than when we played, but super cool to see. And I don't know, I'm looking forward to coaching another AAU season this coming year. But before then, we got a whole season to go of 28.5 women's basketball podcast, which we're pumped about.
Yeah, it's shaping up to be a pretty good year. So just some quick high level before we dig into each quarter one by one. We're going to talk about, obviously, the transfer portal, who won, who lost, and kind of where are those top 5 to 10 players going and the impact they're going to make. Second quarter, we're going to dig into some preseason top 25. Third quarter, this is Sid's topic, and I'm just like, I'm just super impressed by it. She had this idea and this thought to talk about like coaches' systems. Obviously, different coaches have different brands and and styles of how they play. So we'll dig into that more. I think it's going to be a great topic. And then our fourth quarter, we're going to talk about some upcoming matchups that are this week and even today. So let's dig in, Sid.
Let's go for it. Okay, so quarter number 1, our first quarter of the season 2 season. We're going to talk all transfer portal wins. And I feel like every year now the transfer portal is extra juicy. It's a big part of the game now, men or women. There was more than 1,300 transfers heading into this season in the women's game. So just unbelievable. It's a revolving door for some of these players. It's just a part of it, whether you like it or not. It's the reality. So when we look at it, in our opinion, the number one impact transfer heading into this season is Tanaya Latson. So she was the leading scorer last year with 25.2 points per game in the nation, right? She had averaged 4.6 assists. She had 2.2 steals. We watched her play, gosh, Becca, 5 or 6 times last year, probably. Mm-hmm. And this girl is a walking bucket, walking bucket. And now she's going to be joining South Carolina. She's going to be playing in that fast-paced style with Dawn. I'm anticipating Dawn will absolutely give her the green light to go do her thing. South Carolina needed some of that scoring last year in a lot of games. So she's kind of filling in for that gap, if you ask me. It'll be really interesting, too, because when you talk South Carolina, how impactful this transfer is South Carolina is now down Chloe Kitts. Chloe Kitts tore ACL, not playing this season. Ashlyn Watkins, who was injured last year, is also sitting out this year. So when you talk South Carolina, those 2 players are on the bench. Malaysia Fawali, also a transfer that we're going to talk about, transfers out of South Carolina. So Tanaya Latson is really going to be an impact player from the get for South Carolina. And she's one of the best guards we've seen playing in a long time. Like I said, a walking bucket. So excited to watch her play this year. I think she's really going to be put on that national stage where she was hidden a little bit when she was at Florida State. We would talk about her, right? Because she was putting up insane numbers. Yeah. But now she's going to be front and center, playing all those primetime games, probably making a deep tournament run if South Carolina repeats anything like they've done in the past. Kudos to her, because I think she's earned this position at South Carolina, and I'm excited to watch what Dawn and the South Carolina Gamecocks give Tanaya Latson as far as playing time and all the above. What are your thoughts?
No, I think regardless, Dawn is going to stack her team anyway. She understands the game, what she needs. She also knows who can do what on their team and where she can shape and lean in a bit more to get more out of players. So I think, Chloe Kitts and Ashlyn Watkins being out, that's a big impact inside for them, right? They're 4-5s, they're post players. But again, you're adding, a 5'8" athletic as all heck guard who can just put up points. I mean, I'm not gonna. We don't have Chloe Kitts' numbers here or Ashlyn Watkins, but obviously I think Latson outscored them last year, both combined, with Watkins sitting out. So if you're looking at just stats for stats, I think you're going to be pretty happy with that. But again, Kitts being out, she kind of brings that veteran calm. But again, I just think all these moves and these shakes are a little wild to me. I don't want to jump down yet. So number 1, Latson going to South Carolina. I think they're just rebuilding and reloading. That is what they do.
It is what they do. And every team can look so different from season to season with this transfer portal. So yeah, that'll be fun to watch. Number 2, and I'm going to tee it up, but then kick it over to you, Beck, because this one hits home a little bit. Olivia Miles, guard from Notre Dame last year, has transferred to TCU. So if you ask me, and I realize she played with Hannah Hidalgo, I realize there's other impact players out there that are just phenomenal players in the game right now. But to me, she's one of the country's premier playmakers. I mean, this girl is in your face on defense. She's a heady player. She's one of the best guards in the country. And I think it was a little bit of a shock when it first was announced that this was happening. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Beck, to kind of walk through some of the emotions there, being a former Notre Dame Lady Irish player.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this was I think everyone thought that she would either stay again because we were going to reload ourselves, right? Notre Dame was just going to have her and Hannah, and it was going to be great, or go to the league. So after we lost to TCU in, I think, the Sweet 16, to see it come across the ticker on the bottom that she's going to the portal was definitely a blindside. We talked about this a bit last season, but just kind of the fact that she went there after we lost to them, I think that adds a bit more salt in the wound. Now, don't get me wrong, TCU's they're known for reloading their own teams with hitting up the transfer portal, right? They had a very experienced team last year, and this year they're also adding Marta Swartz from Cal, Clara Silva from Kentucky, and Parker from Texas A&M. So they're getting their pieces, and I think Liv was mentioned in an interview saying this was the best team collaboration and just overall relationship she's had since ever playing college ball, which obviously that's a dig at Notre Dame because it's the only other team she played for. But I get she's in a better spot for her, and if this makes her happy, that's kind of all really you can say, right? It's definitely salt in the wound. Great for her. Do what's best for you. This day and age, you're able to make money, but also pick where you want to go based on a package deal. So if you like a situation elsewhere, it's in your prerogative to do what you want to do. So I can't knock her, but definitely was a gut punch.
Yeah, honestly, she was eligible to go to the WNBA last year. And so I thought maybe she would make the jump, but players are making so much money now in college, you'd kind of be a fool. So for her to stay, I think the big shock to your point was the actual transfer to TCU after losing to them. And if you think Mark Campbell, to me, he got Haley Van Lith as a transfer, and now he's getting Olivia Miles. I mean, he goes after some of the best point guards in the country, and it'll be interesting to see how they do. Get your popcorn out on this one. I'm excited to kind of watch and see how TCU does, because they're going to be able to compete with a lot of really good teams this year. They're going to be a really good team.
Yep, definitely.
All right, let's jump to our next one. We have Serah Williams. So she's transferring after playing 3 years at Wisconsin to UConn. So UConn just adding a huge player here. She averaged 19.2 points per game at Wisconsin last year, 9.8 rebounds last season. I mean, this is a good get for Geno. It'll be interesting to see how she fits in the system, how she fits playing with the AZ Fuds and the Sarah Strongs and the girls that are already doing their thing at UConn, winning that championship last year. But she's kind of filling in a little bit of that scoring void from Paige Beckers, if you ask me, right? That was a huge loss for UConn last year, but it's going to be interesting to see what Serah can do. Obviously, Sarah Strong is so good, right? To me, it's going to sound crazy, Beck, but if she continued on the trajectory from her freshman season into this season, she could be the player of the year. I mean, she's that good, which is wild. Right. She's not a flashy, I'm going to hit a step back three, a Caitlin Clark type feel, but she is just all around solid for UConn. So excited to see what Serah Williams, Sarah Strong, and AZ Fudd can do with the Huskies this year.
Yeah, she's it's interesting. She's kind of like a Nafisa Collier. Collier's killing it in the WNBA right now. And again, not flashy, but just consistent and a bucket every time she touches it. So definitely excited to see what Williams can do with Strong in the post, right? Maybe they go big and they go 4-5 with both of them in, or maybe it's just a consistent sub where they're getting their minutes. And I mean, Sarah Strong was pulling threes for UConn last year. So, I mean, her game's
Absolutely.
expanding. And for Williams coming from Wisconsin, right? She probably didn't get a lot of TV time because of the team that Wisconsin had last year. So this is a huge move to go from kind of an unranked, not on the scene Wisconsin to returning national champs. Boom. I think it's a huge upgrade for her.
Yeah, upgrade for her and upgrade for Tanaya Latson, like we talked about coming from Florida State to South Carolina there. That's where the transfer portal could be good for players. Like to me, these players, I mean, obviously if you're a Wisconsin Badgers fan, you're like a little bummed here. But these players have really gotten better. They've proven themselves in the leagues they're in. And I mean, they're taking a step up with that transfer portal, which is really cool. The next one we want to talk about is Cody McMahon. So we talked about her quite a bit last season, coming from Ohio State. She had an okay season, if you ask me, at Ohio State, right? The year before, she really put herself on the map. And last year was a little more rocky for Ohio State. So interesting. I'm not surprised actually one bit though that she transfers, right? I think there was a little, you could kind of tell maybe some drama going on there at Ohio State. So she leaves, she's transferring to Ole Miss. And we love Ole Miss because we love Coach Yo. We talked about their defense, I would say probably every other episode last year. And now they're adding Cody McMahon. She averaged 16.4 points and she's gotten a lot better as a 3-point shooter. That was something that she kind of struggled with earlier in her career. I think last year, I'm looking at it, she averaged 38.6% behind the arc. I mean, she's really gotten better in that regard. Ole Miss needed a go-to bucket, a go-to player that can step up and consistently score 16 plus points a game, and Cody can do that. Pair that with Ole Miss's defense and what Coach Yo brings for her players. Ole Miss was on the map last year, and they're on the map to stay this year.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think Ole Miss also missed that consistent presence inside. They were really guard heavy or had long, lengthy post players who kind of were stretch fours. So just looking at who else, they lost 4 starters. So they're adding folks from Virginia, Wichita State, UCF, and Georgia Tech. So I mean, Coach Yo hit the portal. She got a little scatter, a plethora of players coming in to rebuild her roster, and it's going to be interested to see just how they play and what kind of system. We'll get to quarter 3, but what kind of system they play and how everybody fits into it.
Absolutely. The last one we wanted to highlight is Malaysia Fawali. She comes from South Carolina. She played there last year. She's transferring to LSU. This one is so interesting to me. If you think about Malaysia Fawali, she's one of the more explosive guards in the country. She would come in off the bench for South Carolina, 6-man off the bench, and just mix the game up like crazy. Her defense, she's fast. She can get to the rack, but played more of that 6-man off the bench type role. And now she's going to be at LSU. And if I'm a betting woman, I'm thinking that Kim Mulkey is going to use her as a starter, as a go-to role player. It'll be interesting to see how Malaysia Fawali matures into that type of role. She's still going to have that big TV presence playing for LSU. Obviously, everyone tunes in to watch Kim Mulkey's outfits and whatnot, and LSU plays a lot of those big games. There it is. So that'll be interesting. From my end, and I'll let you speak on this one too, Becca, because it's a big one. I think about players nowadays, and I'm not going to speak for Malaysia Fawali. Obviously, she did transfer for what reasons I don't know, but I think it'd be awesome to play for Dawn Staley. And to leave that opportunity is kind of a big deal. And now you're going to go to LSU, where you've got Kim Mulkey, who's known as being a little bit more old school, and maybe has a little tighter leash on some of her players. I don't know, just kind of feeling that one out. That'll be interesting to see how this fit actually fits, if you know what I mean.
Couldn't agree more. I find it interesting that, I mean, Dawn and Kim are both former players, right? They both have high expectations of their players, specifically point guards. And Malaysia didn't really play a ton. Here's the thing, there would be games we'd be watching and sometimes she wouldn't even get in, whether that's off the court stuff or just the flow of the game and how Dawn was feeling. I'm not there. I don't know. But it just seemed like she definitely could have been utilized more. But I totally agree with you on that short leash. But the interesting part is Kim Mulkey's also known to also have a short leash. And when you look at players like Haley Van Lith, right? She went there for one season, played with Angel Reese, but she was kind of boxed into being this point guard distributor only, run the offense, get us in it. So, and I'm not saying Malaysia will be the PG. Who knows how it all shakes out, but I just think certain players, they go to certain coaches for a promise of that type of style of play, that type of promise. And it's always interesting because once season tips off and that ball gets rolling, it's going to go back to what you need and want as opposed to what you promise somebody. So again, these players are going where they're being sold a dream, and I just hope it works out for them in the best way possible. Again, LSU, South Carolina, big time women's basketball programs. Either one, you're going to be able to get there, make an impact, put up points. It's just going to be the flow of the game, the style, and the coaching staff as to how they want to play you. And I think some of our transfer players, portal players are seeing that in one way or another.
Love it, Beck. Solid points. I think it's worth mentioning too, LSU is somewhat stacked this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like they really should have a good season. They have Flau'jae Johnson coming back, Michaela Williams, Kate Caval's transferring in also from Notre Dame. So that gives them more of a big body presence depending on how she does there. But they also have 3 guards from the number 1 2025 recruiting class at LSU. So they've got the talent there right now. LSU's they're going to make a splash this year. I'm excited to watch some of the SEC play because there's going to be a lot of really strong SEC schools this year. And that's going to be a gauntlet come conference play for them, but it's only going to prepare them for the tournament. And we all know that Kim Mulkey brings that experience as a coach. She's got more experienced players now. I mean, that's going to be huge for them, I think, if they want to make a deep tournament run this year at LSU.
Couldn't agree more.
I have to mention one more briefly.
Okay. All right.
This one's a big one for my Lady Vols. So
Oh.
Tanaya Barker is transferring to Tennessee from Texas A&M. So this one comes within conference, SEC school to SEC school. So I'm excited about this. I think she's going to bring a ton of rebounding for us. She is fast-paced. She's going to fit right into the fast-paced style that Kim Caldwell demands. She only started 3 games at UCLA last season, but she did average 7.4 points and 6 rebounds. And when you play in Kim Caldwell's style, I mean, you're not playing the full game. You're playing closer to half the game anyways. And I think she's going to be a spark when she's in the game. I'm excited to watch her play. We need some of that rebounding presence. So when I saw this one come through, I was pretty excited. She's 6'4". She brings a good, strong presence. So us Lady Vols are excited about Tanaya Barker and that transfer also.
Let's jump to our second quarter. We're going to talk preseason top 25. I think we'll highlight probably a couple teams of ours sprinkled out through maybe 10 and after, but let's really dig into that top 10. So, of course, number 1, as always, as it is with reigning champs, the UConn Huskies come in preseason number 1. You know, last season they had a 37-3 record. Like, I didn't realize they had only lost 3 games. Didn't it kind of feel like it was more, or is that just me?
I mean, the biggest one I remember is when they lost to Tennessee last year, but hey.
I know how that goes.
Yeah.
I just felt like they were, and maybe, I mean, we talked about it as well. And I mean, we're Tennessee, Notre Dame, so we're not, but they were just so consistent and kind of flew under the radar for a while and peaked at the right time. I know we've talked about this in our last season as well, but I mean, great for them. They have a great starting lineup coming back. You mentioned Paige Beckers moving on to the WNBA, but refill, reload here, right? AZ Fudd, Ashlyn Shade, that Serah Williams, 19 points from Wisconsin. And then they added Kaylee Heckel, 6 points. She used to play at USC, so that's a transfer in for UConn as well. That was Sarah Strong. I mean, Geno has his system and knows how to make players great, and I don't think that's going to be a problem this year.
I'm with you. They're going to be hard to knock off. I mean, Geno's repeated before. It could happen, right? And they've got the players to do it. I think what's going to be fun is they start off with a really strong schedule here. So tomorrow, November 4th, they play Louisville in Germany. That's at 5:30 p.m. Eastern.
I think that's amazing. Do you remember, like, I love that our season openers are now like the NFL games where they go abroad to play, right?
That's
We were
awesome.
in Paris and now we're also tapping into Germany. Very cool.
Super cool. They're also going to play Michigan. Michigan's ranked 13th right now on November 21st. That game's a Fox game at night. So, like, that's a fun one. Geno does not shy away. I remember playing for Pat. She would talk about all the time how we want to be the toughest and play the toughest schedule in the country every year. And I think Geno does that, right? Like, he really schedules a lot of tough non-conference games. He makes sure his team is tested. I will say their conference isn't the strongest, right? So he has to go out here and schedule these tough non-conference games. And it's fun for us fans because we get to watch some of those matchups for sure.
Yep. Jumping into our number 2 preseason, way too early rankings, South Carolina Gamecocks, again, kind of highlighted them a lot with our player transfer portals. They came in second. They lost to UConn in the national championship game. Record last year of 35-4. A lot of returning talent there. Raven Johnson, Tessa Johnson, Joyce Edwards. Again, though, these are players who are role players, right? Not really. We have one averaging double digits with Joyce Edwards at 12.7. But again, those role players, you get a year or two under your belt of understanding where and how you fit in. It can just explode from there, right? So I think Tessa and Raven have a lot of opportunities coming their way. I think all in all, it's going to be a really good year for them, and just interested to see what Dawn brings.
Yeah, countless times I'm thinking about last year. You and I would print off the stat sheets and look at the box scores after a lot of these big games, and the well-roundedness in South Carolina's scoring was insane last year. I mean, there would be like 6 girls in double figures, another player with 8 points. Like, it was just like across the board, their bench would outscore other teams by like 40 points. Like, it was insane. And obviously, folks like Malaysia Fawali were coming off the bench and adding a spark and some scoring there. But like, her team is just so deep. And now we talked about it. Tanaya Latson's on there. That is one of those, talk about a role player. Her role is going to be to go out there and just put up buckets. And so I think South Carolina is arguably the strongest on paper to me. But we'll see. It's tough with UConn, right? Because UConn is so stacked.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Number 3 is UCLA. Now, UCLA returns a ton of talent, lost a few to the transfer portal. They lost to the 2nd seed UConn in the Final Four. Also came in at, only losing 3 games last year. I just think with Lauren Betts and Kiki Rice, those are 2 players. That's a PG and a post player, right? Versatile, likes to move, likes free range of the paint. Anytime you can get a 1 and a 5 that really know how to gel and play together, you can add any decent 2, 3, 4 and they'll be successful. I think this year specifically, they really need to hone in on that 2, 3, 4 being more consistent in order for them to make a deep run. Obviously, Final Four, no one's knocking that, but I just think Kiki and Lauren took a lot of the focus last year, especially when you start playing those teams like South Carolina, UConn, where those are great coaches who know how to really challenge players. They've seen the film, they've seen the style and where they can really push and make people uncomfortable. So I think heightened need for that 2, 3, and 4 spot on the starting lineup for UCLA.
Yeah, UCLA, talk about a returning team right here. I mean, they lose to UConn in the Final Four, arguably underperformed, right? Halfway through last season, they were undefeated. We were thinking they were going to sweep the season, right? That's how good they were with Lauren Betts and Kiki Rice. And to me, Kiki Rice still underperforming a little bit last year. So I'm curious to see what she can do this year. I think she's capable of more. And she's been working a lot on her leadership. And you hear that coming out of Corey Close and things that they're talking about and working on. They need more points. They need more production out of Kiki. Give her the green light. I hope she comes in with that aggression for the game where she's really going after it and competing. Gianna Neepkins also, she's coming in as a transfer, averaged 19.3 points per game last year. So that's a huge get for UCLA. I'm excited here. We're going to talk about systems. Corey Close, she's got to come back and bounce back again this year and have as deep of a run, if not deeper, to really prove some of that system to me. She's got the players to do it. I'm curious to see some of that coaching style come through if she can keep that momentum going. But UCLA, definitely one of the top teams in the country.
Jumping to number 4, the Texas Longhorns. Now, I will say, Vic Schaefer must be doing something right, because I don't see, and again, this is like the top 50 that we've looked into, really. I don't see anyone from Texas entering the transfer portal, right? They're not losing those star players. They're keeping it in-house. They're gelling, they're rolling. You have Madison Booker averaging 16 points per game coming back, Rory Harmon. And then you have the number 5 in ESPN Top 100 recruit coming in. So I just think it's awesome to see, Texas just reminds me of like an old school talent where, they're doing everything, and maybe they're not, we don't really know, but like for things not to be, it doesn't seem like there's any drama there. People are leaving, they're looking for other options. I think Vic Schaefer does a really good job of promoting that family environment within his team. He has his daughter on staff, but I also just think you can feel that he loves his players, right? They come out of the game, he's hugging on them, he's teaching, he's hyping them up. I just think all in all, Texas is doing something right with how they're approaching the game, approaching the transfer portal debacle and all the NIL craziness that comes along with it. And I'm looking forward to them having a really good year this year. They did lose to the number 1 seed, South Carolina, in the Final Four last year. But what do you think of Texas, Sid?
Yeah, I just think it's funny that the Final Four teams last year are 1, 2, 3, and 4 this year. Makes it easy, right? I mean, yes. I wish I had that job to pick the top 25 preseason. Anywho, but it's rightfully so, right? Madison Booker, she was the SEC Player of the Year last year. I mean, they've got her baseline game is insane, right? Do you remember watching her play last year? She's just smooth, and she's got like that little mid-range game action that's just like so hard to stop, and it's a little bit more unique. It's like Kevin Durant, right? Like that's who she models her game after. Texas is going to be good. I'm excited to watch how Kayla Oldacre plays. Did she go to work in the offseason here? She's a big body. She's a unique player because of that presence. Like she could be the glue for them. Because you're going to have Madison and Rory that go out there and score points and do their thing, they need that inside presence that makes them more well-rounded. So Kayla Oldacre is really going to have a big season to me for Texas to make a Final Four again.
Couldn't agree more, Sid. Man, Oldacre was one of my favorites. That was an excellent point. That was excellent.
And it's going to be fun because Texas plays UCLA pretty soon here on November 26th. I mean, that's fun. We're talking number 3 versus number 4. In a few weeks. I mean, let's go. That's going to be great.
Yep. Number 5 on our list that we'll really dig into, and then maybe we just kind of highlight a few things on 6 through 10. Number 5 is the LSU Tigers. Kim Mulkey coming back into the top 5 preseason polls here. I can't imagine that the Malaysia Falaje Johnson has nothing to do with that. And then let's not underestimate Michaela Williams, right? 17 points a game, Falaje 18 points a game. I think these are just this is going to be a crazy, talented, athletic, guard-driven team. It reminds me a lot of the Lady Vols, but in the sense they're more attack the rim as opposed to 3-point first. So imagine people just wanting to get up and down the floor, score as fast as you can, pick off defensively. I think it's going to be a lot of read and react, but Kim Mulkey's going to have her say when it comes to the offense that needs to be run. I think, last year they lost to that number 1 seed, UCLA in the Elite 8. I would say that's a huge lesson learned for them and kind of their style of play and where it needs to go and grow. And again, adding Wiley to this lineup, it's just, they're going to be scary, fast, and athletic.
I agree. I mean, they might blow some teams out here. Mm-hmm. Really. Good luck scouting this team. Good luck playing 40 full minutes against this team. I mean, they're going to be full go. Kim Mulkey's going to unleash the dogs, basically. Like, they're going to be full go. And I'm a little disappointed still in some of the schedule, right? Like we talked about it last year. LSU really didn't play anyone, so we didn't highlight them for like the first like month. Remember that?
Right. I do.
So I'm hoping that we see those good SEC matchups, which we will. But when I look at the schedule, I'm always disappointed, right? They play Houston Christian, SLU, Georgia Southern, Charlotte, Tulane, Alcorn State, Marist. Finally, December 4th, a month later after season starts, they play number 7 Duke. Finally. And then they kind of go back into a New Orleans, La Tech, Morgan State, UT Arlington, Alabama State, and then it's SEC play. So it's a little bit different. We're going to talk systems. It's a different approach than like a Geno who knows that, hey, my conference isn't as strong. I got to go out there and schedule the top teams. Kim Mulkey doesn't do that in the offseason. So it's interesting. It's a bummer because, we're going to not highlight LSU a ton because they're going to be blowing teams out. I mean, they should be blowing teams out until that Duke game, probably when they actually play somebody.
Yeah. And I think their record, LSU's record, right, 31-6, they had a couple losses. So they had one specifically to Alabama that maybe they shouldn't have had, right? So they had a little stretch there where, probably should have been able to, those were their challenges. Those were those challenge teams as opposed to, as you mentioned, just the lighter load of the competitive schedule they had previously. So I think it'll definitely be a testament to them to see how it goes. Number 6 and 7, I'm going to kind of bundle into one because I think both of these, we'll obviously talk about them separate. Sid's looking at me like, what? Number 6, the Oklahoma Sooners, and number 7, the Duke Blue Devils. These two are teams that I just feel were grinding last year. They weren't, top 5. They weren't, well, maybe Oklahoma was at one point, but it just, to me, they did their jobs and they continued to get better. Whether it was Oklahoma kind of having some nice upsets at home, Reagan Beers, Peyton Verhulst, them coming out and just putting up crazy numbers. And let's not forget, they're also adding the number 3 in the top 100 ESPN rankings, freshman's Aaliyah Chavez. I mean, this girl's good. She is good, athletic, crazy good. I just think Oklahoma is in a good, nice, sweet spot. It's kind of like Texas was last year, honestly. I feel like they're having the pieces, and now it's just about getting that experience together in order to really make an impact, again, when those big-time games come, and just chip away one game at a time. I think they're in a good spot.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Reagan Beers and Peyton Verhulst. They play so well together. Add in Aaliyah Chavez, they're going to be good. There's a reason why they're number 6 right now. They play that up-tempo, fast-paced game similar to Tennessee, where they sub in a lot, maybe not as much, but similar. And so you got to play a full 40 minutes against that. Yeah, I mean, they're November 10th. Here you go. They're going to play somebody. They play UCLA on November 10th, which is fun. That'll be a game to tune into for sure.
Definitely. And why I bunched number 6 Oklahoma and number 7 Duke. Duke really got into their stride at the end of the season. They really locked up defensively. They really put Notre Dame on their heels for a while. They just, Kara Lawson just has that defensive first mindset, and then she'll figure out the offense in some way, shape, or form. I mean, sometimes Duke went on quarter runs without scoring a point, but they were still in the game because they played defense. So I just want to highlight them as just another team that was just chipping away, doing their job, trying to make an impact, and it paid off. It paid dividends. They lost to the number 1 seed in the Elite 8. Who would have thought at the beginning of the year we were talking about Duke being in the Elite 8? I think that's a testament to itself. Plus, they got some big some big people coming back that can put the ball in the hoop for them. Toby Fournier, Ashlyn Jackson, and again, they got a number 4 in the top 100 recruits coming in. So again, these teams, these big time programs, they're going out, they're getting the players they need to really fill and make it whole. And I think they're successful with it.
It's a big year to me for Kara Lawson. She's put her team on the map. People are now talking again about Duke women's basketball. To your point, they had a great season last year. They outperformed what we thought they were going to do last year. We talked about them a ton because of it. They have got players like Toby Fournier who are coming into their college careers seen as the best players in the country. And I thought she had a good season last year. I think she needs to step up and be a little bit more of a veteran this year. But Carol Lawson has the opportunity with this team, if they put it together, to make a deeper tournament run, potentially make a Final Four. But they've got to consistently play. And I thought last year there was glimpses of really good defense, of 40 full minutes. And then all of a sudden the next game, you'd be like, well, maybe they played like 25 to 30 minutes, right? And like could have competed in this game, but kind of let it go. Like they need to come and consistently bring it every game. That's the big thing for me with Duke right now. I think Carol Lawson's an awesome motivator. She brings a ton of experience. She's coaching the Olympic team coming up here, right? She's got Olympic gold medals. She's played the WNBA. She's done all the broadcasting, commentating you can think of. Played for Pat Summitt, right? Like she is this well-rounded coach. Who wouldn't want to go play for her because of all of those accolades? But now they need to try to turn the corner here, and that's tough to do against some of this tough competition out there and those big time programs. But Duke could be that program if Kara can keep it going.
Yep, couldn't agree more. I'm going to let you take number 8, Sid.
All right, my Tennessee Lady Vols. I am absolutely ecstatic that we're in the top 10. Was hoping for that this year because if you look at it, I think we're stacked. I think we have Kim Caldwell's team put together, what she expects out of a team. She runs a completely different system. But I think we've got talent galore. I think we've got girls that can flat out score. We are going to play that fast pace. We're going to look to shoot threes. We're going to look to get to the rack and score fast. And we've got girls like Cooper and Spearman and Whitehorn that are returning, who played phenomenal, I thought, last year in spurts. I think Cooper's probably our best player on paper as far as scoring goes. But now we're adding Nia Robertson from SMU. She averaged 18.5 points per game last year. That's going to be awesome. We've got Mia Paldo, who is the number 9 in the ESPN Top 100 class coming in for her freshman season. And we mentioned it earlier back in the transfer portal with Janiyah Barker coming in. So I just think we've got a full deck of cards heading into the season. We've got another year where folks are learning Kim Caldwell's system. I think we're going to be tough to beat because of the style we play, how you have to prepare for us. I'm excited for it. I know that the Lady Vol Nation is pumped for this season. Like, we want to be back on the map. We've tasted it for decades with Pat, right? So that fan base is ready for it. Us Lady Vols for life are ready for it. Like, we are behind Kim Caldwell here. We support her all the way. I think what she's building here, what she can build here, is going to be awesome. And so I'm excited to see how we compete this year. I'm excited to see how we can consistently beat teams like UConn. We've done it, right? She proved it last year. We can beat those teams. It's just consistently doing it. Similar to Oklahoma, right? I just think we play kind of similar styles. It's kind of a similar situation within both programs, except for we're the Lady Vols. So, we expect it.
Yeah, I was just going to say back on the map. That's a really great sentence to basically phrase Tennessee as a whole. I know last year when we talked, it was just about proving that the system is scalable and something you can do over and over again, and players are going to buy into it. And obviously that seems to be the case. So looking forward to watching the Lady Vols this season. Jumping to number 9, we have the NC State Wolfpack. Westmore, again, kind of like a Vic Schaefer, always does the little things right, really builds a program from the bottom up. They lost to the number 3 seed in LSU in the Sweet 16. They open up against the Tennessee Lady Vols. I think that will be a really good game. Early season, they have a couple returning players. They lost a lot last year, but also they got some new girls. They went in and hit the transfer portal. Pierre came from Vanderbilt. She's averaging 20 points a game. Zoe Brooks is back with 14 points a game. So I think they just were riddled with injuries last season, especially when the big time games were hitting their stride. They had a lot of players either have to sit out or out altogether. So again, interested to see, Westmore put in the work that the off season was. I mean, they were, knocked out in the Sweet 16, so they had a bit more time to hit the gym and hit the portal. So looking forward to that and that first game against Tennessee.
Yeah, this is another program that goes out there and plays a lot of tough non-conference games. So I'm excited to watch it. They're going to get tested early. All your points, super valid. I mean, the Vanderbilt transfer is with Camille Pierre is huge for them. They're another team that's going to be in your face, up and down, fast pace. So they're fun to watch. I'm going to jump into number 10, if you're cool with that, because it's going to lead us right into our quarter number 3.
Yep.
So number 10, Maryland Terrapins. I'm excited to see Maryland in the top 10, really, because of their coach, Brenda Fries, and all that she's brought to the women's basketball game. She's made Final Four. She's won a national championship. It's exciting for the Big Ten to consistently have a team that's pretty good, and that's Maryland to me. Maryland, Ohio State, you've got Indiana kind of coming on the scene. Iowa's come on the scene. But if you talk about a few decades here, Brenda Fries has consistently gotten her teams to achieve. And they had some injuries last year that really plagued them and I think hurt them. I was calling like this like crazy, like they could make a Final Four last year. Maybe it's this year. They're coming back. They're healthier. The Smeichels back. She was averaged 17.9 points per game last year. You've got Yarden Garzon, which is a huge transfer from Indiana.
Agree.
That girl can play. Like she's tough-nosed. Yeah, she's a great shooter. Excited to see how she fits in Brenda's system. I just think they're going to be all around good. So I'm excited for Brenda Fries. And I think if you're cool with it, Becca, we're going to go right into quarter 3, which is systems.
Yep. We've blown through halftime. We're already in Q3.
There you go.
Let's do it.
Quick halftime. So for me, when I think about the top 25, and it's easy to reflect on this heading into seasons when you look at how teams are ranked and what that means. Obviously, it doesn't mean a ton, right? You got to come out here and you've got to perform. It's a long season. You play a ton of games in basketball, but it's often reflective on maybe your previous season or seasons, but also that coach. I think the coach means a ton here, and they all obviously jive together. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, but if you look at it, it's easy to look at Geno and Dawn and Kim Mulkey and some of these coaches that have just been around, have consistently brought teams into the Final Four, which those 3 have, and they get the recruits because of it. You've got players nowadays that want to be on that stage. They're going to get the best of the best. And I think it's fun to watch how these coaches recruit into their systems and who they think is going to be a good fit for their system. I think Dawn's been really interesting to watch with that. And then also how players get better when they're there. I think that is the most telling thing for me with watching Geno and his teams. His girls get better. Yeah. Whether it's as leaders, X's and O's in their game, how they play as a team. Like you can even watch within seasons how his teams get better. So it's like the teams get better, but also individually they get better. And he's got that secret sauce. It's a little tough for me to give Geno these many compliments, but I just think that he's setting the bar right now as far as that goes. And I think Dawn is able to get, and you mentioned it, like she reloads, right? Like she's able to get top transfers and top recruits because of her persona, of her calmness, of her realness to the game. Like she just seems like somebody who is going to be real with you, is going to work with you, has your back. Like she just really embodies some of those intangibles of what a good coach is. And then when you watch her team play, that's how they play. Like I'll never forget it. 2 years ago, I was at the Final Four watching, and they got down pretty early against, I think it was Iowa, maybe. And I'm like, man, they're down like 11 points here in the first quarter. And Dawn was calm, cool, and collected. Like didn't miss a beat, wasn't yelling at her players, wasn't panicked over on the sideline. She's kind of sitting there, paper rolled up, kind of, I don't know, bumping her knee up and down, but I could tell she's thinking through like, okay, what adjustments do we need to make? We need to make them fast, but she sits back and watches the game. And I think that's telling of a really good coach. So these systems matter. Like we talk about it as coaches, even in our AAU team, what plays we're going to run, what offenses, what defenses, what we expect out of our players in a culture. Geno's the best at it right now to me. Dawn is right there. Kim Mulkey is able to do it. To me, it's going to be fun to watch some of these newer on the scene coaches. Closest from UCLA. The Kim Caldwell is from Tennessee. She's bringing a whole different system to the game. If you turn on a Tennessee Lady Ball game, it is maybe the exact opposite of a Pat Summit Lady Vol team, right? Where there's less focus on defense, which is weird, right? It's weird for me to say and weird for me to watch sometimes. And there's more focus on offense. There's more focus on this high octane. We're going to try to score 100 points every game. You got to slow us down. Yes, we're going to rebound. Yes, we're going to defend, but we are going to score. And so that's something that's different for the game. The pace they play, they sub in and out like crazy. You've got historic programs like in Tennessee where you've got ADs, athletic directors that recruit in coaches that they think can get it done. I think Kim Caldwell can get it done. We're going to watch. It's early on here. I flip over to the Notre Dames of the world, right? Where you had, and the Stanfords of the world, where you had Muffet McGraw for years and her system. And you can speak to that better than anybody I know. You and Leck, her system, right? What she brought every year, what she recruited for every year. You've got Tara Vanderveer at Stanford who brought that every year consistently. They had systems that worked, right? And they stuck with them and they recruited to those systems. And so they don't have to reinvent themselves fully every year, right? And I think there's something to be said about that you shouldn't do that, right? You've got to come in and you've got to develop players and recruit the right ones. I think the verdict's still out a little bit on Niele Ivey, right? It's tough shoes to fill. Muffet McGraw is one of the best coaches of all time. Niele could be one of those coaches. They're going to continue to get good recruits in at Notre Dame. It's Notre Dame, right? So they've got to consistently play, make it deep in tournament runs. Notre Dame needs to get back to a Final Four in the next few years here. That's where Tennessee is missing, right? And you slowly start slipping a little bit in some of the talent that you can recruit from. And so I'm rooting for Notre Dame. It's fun for the game when Notre Dame plays well because they're one of those blue bloods. Can Niele evolve her system a little bit more, right? It can't just be straight playbook from Muffet McGraw. Can she evolve it? And can Notre Dame get back on the map a little bit more this year? They were on the map definitely last year, but they have to try to stay on. And I think that'll be interesting to watch. I'm going on a tangent here, Becca. I'm going to kick it over to you and get all your thoughts on this. But I just think it's so much fun to sit back every year, like I said, look at this top 25 and be like, yep. And it's a lot of the same teams in the women's game year over year. But it's fun to watch some of these new systems, new styles of play. Can they sustain against some of these older systems that are tested? Go ahead.
No, I completely agree. I think it's a great point. I love the point you mentioned about these coaches in the older systems seem to have the ability to make players better once they get there. I think that's really the tall tale sign of a good system. You never want to see, there's normally a lull when you first get there, right? Your freshman year, it's either going to be you're a standout and you're just draining threes and you're amazing putting up numbers, or it's a rough year and it takes some adjusting, getting used to finding your niche. That was definitely me. But I just think Niele is in that right now, right? We have Hannah Hidalgo coming back with a lot of new pieces that I know they've been putting in some serious work. I will say Niele has a style all her own, and I think we really want to focus on the defensive end of the game, right? Like we like that transition run and gun, getting up, getting steals, pressuring, high tempo, get it out, run. But I just think the types of players you recruit and what you build and transform those players to really matters, right? So another coach that I want to throw out there, and I don't know if we mentioned this earlier, I might have blacked out while we were talking, but is USC's coach, Lindsay Gottlieb. And I don't know if we've mentioned, like, Juju's going to sit out this year. Did we mention that earlier?
No, we have it as like a call out, but we haven't mentioned it yet.
Earlier in that first quarter, when we're talking about transfer players or even the top 25, like Juju being out, and that's already been, she's going to get healthy and focus on it. She tore her ACL late last season. What is Gottlieb's and USC system going to be? What do they do now? And I'm not saying she leaned heavily on it's Juju. That is just a phenomenal talent, generational talent. She's going to do what she's going to do anyway, because you have to just let her play. That's how it is. That's how you're successful. For her, I think it's even more important now, those role players. They had some games last season towards the end when Juju was out. I can't remember who they played, but it was like a shocking upset. It went into overtime. But I think for her, going into her 5th season at USC, It's going to be really huge. She's not going to have Juju. It's how is she going to stack up? Everything's kind of been under wraps. There hasn't been any like highlighted players that we saw moving from or to there, right? A couple role players here and there. But again, it's going to be how does she impose her system on these players in order to get them better and to get them to produce when they're on the court all season long. I think that's just another one, kind of a new generational system and kind of trying to find its identity still.
Yeah, I think it's a great call out. I'm curious to see how she does adapt a little bit because it is a completely different team coming in this year, especially with Juju being out. And we talk about this a lot when we're coaching just our AAU team, even. It's looking at your personnel and what plays do you need to run to get buckets with your personnel? Like, where are your strengths? So I would imagine there's a lot more or different plays this year that have been developed. I think she's probably going to lean some on her MBA assistant coaching days and maybe things she learned out of different systems to then bring into her own with some different players here that need to score. So that's maybe a one-off case where you've got from season to season a whole new team you're kind of working with, and you got to figure out how to get buckets and get points. That's crazy.
And a whole new system.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, do you edit the system? Like,
oh man,
did you have tough. A Juju on backup? No, I completely agree. All right, let's jump into our last quarter, our fourth quarter, where we're just going to highlight some of those upcoming matchups for this week. So we talked a lot about these teams. You'll see a lot of the 6, 8, 9 teams that we talked about in the preseason polls. Duke number 6 plays Baylor number 18 today. Then we have Tennessee number 9 playing NC State number 8 tomorrow. UConn number 1 playing Louisville number 20 also tomorrow in Germany. Again, I just think that's so cool. And then NC State, who's ranked preseason number 8 versus USC, who we talked about a little bit, preseason number 16. They are on Sunday. Sid, high level, which game are you most excited for? I think I already know, but which one?
Yeah, I'm going to go with my Lady Vols. I mean, we're kicking the season off with a tough matchup here. I think both teams are going to be so fast paced. And there's some of that early season jitters that are going to be happening. They're going to be working through some of that, but come second quarter into the second half, I think we're going to see some true colors on these teams already just with this tough matchup. 9 versus 8. I mean, that's great to start the season. So yeah. I'm excited about that one. How about
Definitely.
You?
You know, I'm going to not just pick one. I'm excited for all of these because 1, basketball's back, but 2, I'm excited to see Duke's defense and just how they've evolved. I'm excited for the Tennessee NC State game, all the things you just mentioned. A great first game matchup. See where you're at. UConn playing Louisville. I know it's a 1 versus 20, but you're in Germany. The vibe's different time zone. You never know what Walls is gonna do and how UConn's going to look. I think that's going to be a good game as well. And then again, NC State against USC, that new system without Juju, what does it look like and how do they score points? I think it's going to be all in all an awesome start to the new season coming up. And I'm very excited to say it's back.
4 top 25 matchups in the first week. That's pretty awesome. I love it. Very exciting.
It's like the basketball gods know women's basketball is growing and it's about time we start setting it up. Set the table for them. Let them eat.
It's great. And we'll go ahead and wrap today's episode. I just thank all of you for listening. We're excited to be back for season 2. And Becca, I call you Beck, but let's go with Becca. I'm excited.
Let's not be formal. Formal.
Beck. I'm excited to kick it off this year, and I just think it's going to be so much fun. I'm excited for the drama. Like, I just think every year there's some sort of drama that's unexpected, and we cover all of it, right? We cover the off the court drama, some of the on the court drama, some of the injuries, unfortunately, that happened and kind of changed trajectory of teams in the season. It's going to happen this year, right? It's part of the game. I'm excited for all the upsets and the overtime wins and all the juiciness that it's going to bring. So we will drop episodes, like I mentioned earlier, every Monday. So look forward to those. We're going to do our thing about debriefing games and talking about upcoming matchups. like I mentioned, all the drama. So we're going to cover all of the women's college game right here on 28.5 Women's Basketball.
And I'm so excited. Season 2, best one yet. Let's rock it.
Let's rock it.
Chat with you later. See you, Sid.
See you, Beck.
That's the 28.5 final buzzer for today's episode. Don't forget to hit follow and download on your preferred podcast platform to catch every play-by-play. New episodes drop each week throughout the season.
If you've enjoyed our courtside chat, drop us a review or follow us on our social media accounts where you can send us questions that may be selected for our Team Huddle Q&A episodes. And remember, from females who have played the game, the size of the ball matters.